Hi everyone! Welcome to Microsoft APAC Partner TechPowerUp series. So for this entire series, you will learn about Power Platform. So my name is Gogo Mulyawan, and at my specific session today, we will learn about IT governance and Center of Excellence. Right? Okay, so we are now all familiar with the term of digital transformation. In fact, Microsoft for many years has been on a digital transformation journey. Many organizations support their digital transformation by heavily investing in myriad of technologies with the belief that these technology investments will accelerate their digital transformations and ultimately yield enhanced and greater productivity. A research discovered that truly customer-obsessed organizations are primarily reliant on the culture and talent of the workforce itself. It is your people which is the number one contributor to a successful digital transformation journey. This has been the case at Microsoft at least, and it seems that this is also the trend across the wider industry. And this means folks from all parts of your organizations, from technical to non-technical, and included in this group of people, right? Empowering your people and their talents is the best way to accelerate your digital transformation, enhance your productivity, and deliver the services which your customer require, right? For modern business to compete and progress with their digital transformation journey, more end user will become developers, right? In fact, Gartner predicts that by 2023, there will be 4 times as many end user or citizen developer compared to experienced developers in enterprises. This new group of developers are needed to handle an increase in software, application, and database development required for the modern enterprise to support growing business demands. To enable these new developers create and support their organization, low-code development becomes much more critical and necessary for continued success, right? To help empower your people and elevate their talents, Microsoft combined the capability of 4 services into a unique and powerful low-code development platform. While the Power Platform has capabilities which will impress any seasoned developer, it is designed to be approachable and, of course, accessible to those in the best position to identify transformative applications, those who work at the front lines of a business. Digital transformations means more efficient use of your data to gain insights which facilitates more intelligent business processes and decision making. However, organizations cannot achieve this efficiency with only programmers, data scientists, and tech professionals because there simply are not enough of them. One of the foundational goals of the Power Platform is to empower the limitless potential of citizen developers who can use its capabilities to unlock insights and develop processes that would otherwise never surface. Right? The Power Platform is a singular low-code platform that spans Office 365, Dynamics 365, Azure, and every standalone application. The Power Platform is designed for ease of use for business or departmental users and support the world-growing citizen developer community. Concurrently, the Power Platform also offers the functionality required for experienced developers as well. The Power Platform is also built to support the needs of modern IT teams and administrators, from automating mundane IT functions to providing security, compliance, and control over the usage and execution of Power Platform services across the entire IT ecosystem. Our focus for the next several minutes will be how the Power Platform is designed to work together with IT in this new world of end user and experienced developer, where governance becomes the key in enterprise development. As the number of developers grow, governance becomes more of a key criteria to ensure that digital transformations provides the desired positive effect, right? With more developers, there are more potential gaps and areas where an organization may fall out of compliance or experience security issues, and we list some of these concerns here in the screen. Having strong governance is a fundamental requirement for an organization to experience the full benefit of digital transformation and enable an enterprise-scale rollout of the Power Platform. Powerful governance tools have enabled many customers from multiple industries of all sizes to have successful enterprise-scale rollout and management of the Power Platform. So right now, let's take a look at how we think, about governance with the Power Platform. As with many IT initiatives, governance is not a single step. It requires focus on multiple aspects, including security, monitoring, management, and application lifecycle management for your particular organization. In our Power Platform Governance series, we'll show you how the Power Platform offers you capabilities in each of these different and important elements for your Power Platform deployment. The tools within the Power Platform help reduce the complexity of governing your environment and empowers admins to unlock the greatest benefit from their Power Platform assets. First, let's understand about security. As you all know, as a powerful low-code, no-code platform, Power Platform brings with it all the strong security and compliance features of Azure and Azure Active Directory on the table. In addition to all the standard Microsoft first-party security constructs, Power Platform has many targeted governance capabilities that are focused on securing its unique app flow, bot, common data service, and its connector ecosystems. Like all good security strategies, Power Platform security offerings are a multi-layered cake, right? And offer a defense in depth. In addition to the existing capabilities highlighted on the slide here, we are working relentlessly to bring some very exciting new security features to you in this calendar year. This will further strengthen the security and trust pillar for Power Platform deployment in your enterprise. So now let's dive right in and learn more about them. Okay? So here is how we envision it. There are multiple layers to your security, right? Security begins at the tenant level and then cascades down into other elements. And as you can see in here, the tenant level, you already being secured from Azure Active Directory side. So everyone that wants to have an access to Power Platform needs to log in using their Azure Active Directory accounts, right? And then after that, you will be able to manage the security from the environment access, right? So in here, environment, you can separate your environment. We will talk about this environment a little deeper after this slide. And then after that, we also have the security being set up in the resource permissions. So whether a person have access to Power application or on the automate, right? it depends on which access they have, credentials they have access for. And then after resource permission from the application, we also have a layer of security in connector access and data loss policies. So if they don't have the access in these connectors, they cannot trigger the connections. It means that this secures your connections to the third-party platform as well. Okay, and then the next layer is the data-first data security, which is very important because in this data-first, you can control on the role of the users. So for example, if you are having a role as a manager, you might not have access to the board of director access levels, because that's how it should be, right? And then, for example, if you are a manager in a certain region, let's say region A, you cannot see and change data from a manager in region B, because that's how it is. You cannot change a data from a different region. So all of these settings can be set up, depends on what your customers or what your needs are. That is a role security layer from the dataverse. And then the last but not least, we also have the on-premises data gateway. So in here, we manage the security when you want to connect to your legacy applications or to your on-premise databases. Okay, so right now, let's see on the different types of environment. So for you guys that already have a lot of experience in creating Power Apps, Canvas app, or model driven, you should already know on what is environment is, right? You should see it often. But in here, let me explain the type of the environment. So first is the default one. So the default environment is the environment that you will get when you subscribe to the license. It will be auto-created and auto-generated, and it is mandatory because it is a default one. So you cannot change or delete this. Okay, and then the second one is the production environment. So usually this production environment is intended to be used by the entire organization, and their activity will come and go into this production environment. So you need to be really careful in this environment. So don't make sudden changes in this production environment. Okay, if you want to make some changes, you can choose into the next environment. You can do the changes in the next environment, which is the sandbox environment. So usually this one, you do the changes, you do the request change, and you do the modification inside this sandbox environment. And then after you satisfy, you can package that into a solution and then move that into the production environment. That's how you make sure that your changes are safe before we release that into the production. And then we also have the next type of environment is a trial one. In trial, usually this one you need to create. You need to create a trial environment, and then it will be created for you for time span of 30 days, right? And this trial environment will have all the new features available on current Power Platform, right? So it includes also the preview function. So if you want to try out, the new features that will coming or already there, you can use the trial environment. But remember, after 30 days, this will be dismantled. You can create another one though. Okay. And then the fifth part is the developer tenant. So this developer tenant is usually available for people that create or register Power Apps in the community plan license. This is a special environment intended only for use by the owner, and they cannot be shared by other users. So you cannot share application inside this tenant. And then the next type is the project Octale. So this environment is actually being booked or being, reserved for application that you will build on top of Teams. So as you know, we now have Dataverse for Teams. So you can actually create an application, a Power App from Microsoft Teams. Now, if you create from Microsoft Teams, you will have your own dedicated environment. And this is the project Oakdale environment. And this is also auto-created, right? And the last type of environment is the support environment. So this one is the environment that will be created by Microsoft Support Engineer when you are creating a ticket request, to check on the error of your application. So Microsoft Support Engineer will use this tenant to recreate the issue and try to solve that issue for you. Okay, so that is the types of environment that you will have. Okay, so we already talked about the security part of the governance series. Okay, so in next we will talk about how to monitor and manage the applications that you already create on Power Platform. Okay, let's check it out. So monitor and manage the Power Platform, right? So first is the monitoring part. So we can actually see a lot of things in the monitoring dashboard, right? You can see activity logs, you can gain insights on the capacity and storage consumption, and you can view out-of-the-box analytics, for usage and adoption, right? So let's see how it looks like. So actually for the monitoring portal, the monitoring dashboard, you will have two types, right? So you will have the admin activity log and the user activity log, right? The admin activity log, this is for any activity that is being done by admins, right? For example, who's publishing what customization, configuring instances, who's configured it the last time. So, and then who, deploying the solution, because how solutions works. It works like a layer, and then you have a versioning as well. So you might want to know as an admin, right? So who's deploying which solution at what version, right? So that kind of stuff can be seen by the admin activity log. And from the data user activity log, you can have this information: who create the data, who deletes the data, who create this specific data at what time, right? So you can have this kind of reports. Okay. And you can actually download that as audit logs. So if it is become a necessary thing to have an audit data, you can actually generate that. Okay, and then you can also have a monitoring dashboard for critical activity on both Power Automate and Power Apps. So later on we can see the example, right? You can see example on what you can see in Power Automate and Power Apps monitoring dashboard. And then you can also monitor from a storage capacity perspective, right? Storage capacity in Power Platform is not as a usual database capacity. So the legacy database capacity, you can not only, right? You will see the whole database storage, right? And then you can see on how many usage on that whole database. But in Power Platform, we separated the capacity into three types, right? So you will have a database capacity, you will have a file capacity, you will have a log capacity. what is the difference, right? So the database capacity is where you actually maintain the core data from your Power Platform, right? So for example, if you have an account table, right? If you have an account table, it will have the first name of the company, the name of the company, the address of the company, or if it is a person, it's the first name, last name, the address of the person. So those kind of core data is being stored in the database capacity. And then the second type is the file capacity. So file capacity is all kind of attachment files that is attached to that particular record, right? For example, if you have a record for a particular person, Mr. A, for example, so this Mr. A have a existing contract with us, right? So those contract usually already documented as a PDF or as a Microsoft Docs document, right? And it attached to that person. So those kind of attachment, right? It will be stored as a file capacity, and this can be any kind of files, you name it, like pictures, JPEG, PDF, right, PowerPoint, something like that. So that counts as a file capacity. And then we also have a log capacity. So this is more on the transactional data. So whenever you create a data, right, you will have a log on what time at precise what minute, what second that data is being created, and what time that that data is being changed. So if you want to roll back the data, that you are able to do so. Those transactional log is being stored separately as a log capacity. Okay, and now let's see how it looks like in the monitoring dashboard. So it will looks like this. So if we see in here, so this database and file and log that I mentioned earlier, you can see it's being separated and being reported detailed, right? And then you can also see the capacity usage separated by the environment. So example, this Contoso production environment is already eating like 20 gigabyte of storage, right? So you can see the detail in here, and it's being separated by file and logs as well. Okay. Okay, so that's the storage monitoring dashboard. And now we also have, if you want to have a detailed insights on inside of the Dataverse data platform as again more, you will able to generate the report, right? So number of active users, right? And then what is the trends on the data, and so other detailed report you can generate as well. Okay. And now let's see on the analytics dashboard or monitoring dashboard for the Power Apps itself, right? In Power Apps, we can see the health check of the application, right? How many errors per application, in which environment, you can see about that. And then you can also monitor how is the adoption and usage of those specific application, how many active user, at what location they are logged into that application, that kind of information, you can get it. And this is the example of the dashboard. As you can see in here, application launched across different platforms, right? You can know on that your application is being launched as a tablet. You can know the device, what device is opening that, or you are using iPhone, or you are using Samsung, something like that, right? And then in here you can see the location of the logins on the application. So then you can optimize and enhance your application based on their location. And then in here you can also see the connectors, the health of the connectors, on which connector that is still being used a lot, which connector are having downtime, something like that, you can see in this report. So it's, as you can see, it's pretty detailed report that we provide to all of you to govern your application. And now you can also see the report for Power Automate. So Power Automate will monitor specifically on the flow itself, right? The flow usage, API usage, how many calls on that flow every day, every minute you can monitor. And then of course you also can monitor the health of that flow as well, the flow errors, right? And then you can also filter out by type, you know, what how much is flowed with this type come into an error, right? So you can have that kind of report. Here is some examples on the report on the Power Automate on the environment level. So you see the types of flow that is already in use, flow in use in trend. So that flow is being highly used at what date, at what time, you can see in here, right? And then in here you can see on the connectors that is being created for that Power Automate, right? The flows involved, how many runs, how many calls that is happening. And then this is the daily run, right? How much is failure, you can see in here. So this is not so good if we see, right? The failure runs is the black one, as you can see there is a lot of black. So need a lot of optimization in here, I think, for this example. And the green one is the successful run. So we are happy to see the green ones. But as you can see, it's really interesting dashboard that we have. Also, again, to help you to govern your application. Okay, so now you already see how to monitor, right? And next, we will see on how to manage the deployment, right? So if you want to deploy an application, right, from the development environment, right, where the citizen makers are trying to create their own application in there, and then you want to move them into the production, you might want to control that. You know, you don't want people are just create, publish, you know, just create and publish, and then you will have like hundreds of apps published in one day. How to control that, right? So you need to have a certain pipeline, you know, to manage the flow of that deployment, right? To help you do that, we actually already provide you know, Power Platform for admins to manage the solutions and so on and so forth. But I will show you a live demo, you know, on how you can actually manage to do that. Okay, so let me get into my desktop and show you how it looks. Okay, so as you can see that this is the Power Apps site that you usually see, right? And then you can see everything that you already get used to see. You can create application in here. You can create a model-driven or canvas app, right? And then you will have your environment, the CRM 286340 in here. This is the environment that I use. And what you need to do is to click the solutions right here. Okay. And this solution is where you package your solution together, right? And this solutions in here is the one that we want to move, you know. This, for example, this DevCon solution, I want to move this solution into another environment. So if you can see why I want to move this solution, right? Let me open the solution first. Because, you know, inside of this solution, it contains all of our changes of the application. So let me close this real quick, the feedback. So in here, you can have your applications, right? And then you can create a new flow, cloud flow, desktop flow. This is all of the option that you can use to create inside the solution. You can create a connectors as well. So the whole solution is being packaged into this one package. So I want to move this from here into another environment. So manually, what you can do is actually as easy as click export in here. So this will export the whole solution as a zip file, right? And then you just need to change the environment in here. You can just change to DevCon 2021 in here, different environment. and then click a solution, and then you do the import solution in here, right? So this import solution will, like, quote unquote install your solution in this environment. So this is how you manually do it. But the problem is, like, we cannot 100% maintain, you know, the movement of this solution. What happen if in 1 week you have 3 customization, and then you need to deploy it in your customer office, right? So you need to go there 3 times a day, you know, to unpack the solution and everything. So that does not make sense from the time wise, right? Time perspective. So we need to be able to automate this, right? So how you automate that is you actually using Azure DevOps. So it's really easy to use, right? You can just create a CI/CD pipeline, right? So what you need to do is go into your Azure DevOps organization, right? And then open your organization. This is my organization, and then you can have the summary, you know, the project that you want to work with, right? And then you open the pipeline. I already have a pipeline created for this particular demo session, right? And then what you need to do, let me see in here, right? Let me edit this. Is to create a step-by-step, you know, to pack the solution from one environment and then unpack it into another environment, right? So this is what I actually do. This is the steps. First, the tool installer. The tool will install itself, and then the next step is it will export a solution. So like what we did manually before, package the solution and then export it out, and then unpack the solution. What this does is actually put it in a storage in a GitHub repository, right? And then the last step is to import that solution, that zip file, you know, into the new environment automatically. And actually there is a lot of activity that you can do. So you can search in the marketplace, you know, the Power Platform. There is a lot. So like backup, you can automate the backup environment, right? You can copy an environment, you can create a new environment and automate that. Actually, you know, a lot of options that you can choose in here. Okay, so how we actually set up the destination of the source of the environment, right? So what you need to do is set up the service connection in here, right? So let me show you. So click manage in here, right? And then for this one, I will edit. So I just need to do a reload component in here. As you can see, this is the server URL, right? So this is the tenant and the environment address that the source of my solution, right? And then this is the authentications needed to deploy or to export from this solution, right? So you need to do this service connection, set up this service connection 2 times for this scenario. First is for the source, the second one is for the destination. Okay, and then you define the solution name in here, right? And then you can do the automation. So let me show you the example of the pipeline that I just ran before, right? So let's click in here, open this, and then let's open this activity in here, and then open this agent job in here. So this is the agent job that I do in this pipeline earlier, right? So doing the checkout, right? And then install the tools in here, right? And then do the export solution, unpack solution, and then import the solution. So by doing this, you know, you can automate the process in which you develop your solution. You just need to develop the solution, make the changes, and save it, and then just run this pipeline. Okay, so that's how you manage your deployment package, right? So we usually call it application lifecycle management, as you may already heard a lot of times. Okay. All right. So next, we already see secure, right? So we already see how you secure your environment. You already see how to monitor your applications, and then we already see some demo on how you manage the deployment, right? For all of this, for your governance, for your IT governance, and now we want to also cater, the problem for your organization change management as well, right? Because driving transformation using Power Platform is not an easy task, and it's not fast. It's not only technology play, but the organization change as well. So we need to be able to cater that as well. So that's where Center of Excellence comes into play, right? So let me show you what all it is about, right? So in order to create a space where admins and makers can operate confidently and productively, we see many organizations establish a center of excellence. What is a center of excellence, right? It's a coordinating function that ensures the Power Platform strategy is aligned with the digital transformation strategy of your company, right? Establishing a center of excellence means nurturing organic growth while maintaining governance and control. So basically, the content of this toolkit, right? This is some kind of a toolkit pack that you can install on top of your environment, right? This toolkit includes all of these three things: how to maintain your community, how you evangelize the success of your application within your organization, and then how you train your business or citizen development makers, right? So it contains all of these packages. So for example, what is inside the package, right? So this is one of the example. It's a welcoming email. So you can automatically send this whenever a makers are creating an application. The content of the email, we already give a template, but you can modify the content of the email. The content of the email might be, the SOP, standard operation procedure. Depends on how you give rules on your IT governance, right? So you can tell them that, first thing you need to create, this is the default screen. You cannot deviate from this default screen design, right? So all of that governance thing, you can put the announcement in the welcoming email. Okay. And then this is another example, the app catalog. So this is like quote unquote like a marketplace inside your own organization. So this will help the whole entire organization to find the application that is already published by your citizen makers. It enhances the discoverability. Okay, and then this one, a place where you can share templates and reusable components. What is reusable components? It's sometimes a component that is so complicated to create, usual citizen makers might not be able to do that. So your software developers or pro developers, right, can create these custom components and then publish it into this template catalog. So the other citizen makers and then can use this complicated component and then just plug it into their application that they currently design. Okay, and then we also will give you the hackathons package, like, so for example, how to create a hackathons and why we want to create a hackathon, right? So because usually in this hackathon a new and bright ideas come out. It's like we book like 1 day of some divisions time, a group of 5 people from each division, you gather them together in one room, and then for 1 day we give them the business process issue that we are facing, and then they will hack it, brainstorm, pour out ideas in which they will come up with base or a seed component of the application, and then we can continue on creating using Power Apps based on that ideas. So we also give you, templates on how to create these hackathons. And then you can organize the internal training events, and we also provide in the package is the content material for these training events. Okay, so you can see, right, as we said before, governance is not a single step. Just now you already see how you secure your environment or platform environment, how to monitor, how you manage the deployment, right? And then how you we will provide you the toolkit, to nurture and educate your entire organization using a center of excellence toolkit. Okay. And governance, as you know, is a foundational part of the Power Platform because of its importance in the new world of end-user developers. With the Power Platform, governance is a mandate, and the Power Platform capabilities help promote the development and strategy of how an organization can manage an IT environment that includes citizen developers along with pro developers. The Power Platform also offers flexibility and customization on how an organization is governed. Governance is a core priority for any Power Platform development and built on security, comprehensive monitoring tools, and the ability to manage your deployment. Additionally, the Power Platform supports your application lifecycle management journey and enables you to nurture and educate your organizations on how to best deploy deployment and maximize the benefits from the Power Platform. Now that you have a high-level view on how we think about governing the Power Platform, we can take a deeper journey into the core elements for governing your deployment. If you would like to know more, later on this session, we will give you a site where you can learn more about this. And then please, of course, contact your local Microsoft representative if you want more in-depth training on that. With that, this concludes my session, and I say really, really huge thank you for all of you guys that is attending this workshop. All right, see you at the another occasions. Goodbye.